They say you always remember the exact moment everything changes. For me, it was a quiet Thursday night just after dinner. Olivia was at the sink, rinsing dishes, her hands moving in slow, practiced circles as if she were scrubbing away something. More than food. And then, without even glancing at me, she said it like she was asking if we were out of milk. "I want to take a solo trip." I paused, set my glass down. "By yourself?" "Well, no. Maddie and Issa are going too, but I need this. For me." She still didn't look at me, just kept scrubbing that damn pan. Maddie and I were both newly single, both caught in that post-breakup self-discovery spiral, the kind that's fueled by boxed wine, Spotify therapy playlists, and podcasts that talk about boundaries like they're holy commandments. I knew exactly what kind of trip this was going to be. "What are you hoping to find over there that you can't find here?" I asked, my tone dry, brittle. She dried her hands slowly, then finally turned to face me. "I've never done anything on my own, Richard. I went straight from my parents' house into this life. I just need space to feel like myself again. We'd been married for years. Bought our first house the previous summer. I thought we were steady. Not exciting maybe, but solid, dependable. Built to last." She must have seen something in my face, because she added quickly, "It's not about partying. It's not like that. I just need to think." I nodded slowly, letting the words sink in. "So you need space. Before what? Before kids? Before you're too tied down to go bar hopping through Europe with Maddie and her yoga instructor?" "That's not fair," she said, her voice tightening. "Which part?" I asked calmly. "The trip, or the fact that you're deciding all this without me?" She exhaled, frustration softening into resignation. "I knew you'd react like this. That's why I almost didn't tell you until after I bought the tickets." And there it was, that cold realization. This wasn't a conversation. It was a courtesy. Heads up wrapped in polite tones and practiced indifference. She was going, and nothing I said would change that. She left the following weekend. I didn't try to stop her. But I made a quiet decision of my own, that night one she never saw coming. I drove her to the airport that morning. Not out of affection, but because I didn't want her to have any excuse to label me petty. She looked more like she was headed to brunch than to another continent line and blazer. Big sunglasses. That expensive suitcase I'd once given her for Christmas. "You okay?" she asked, as we pulled up to the curb. "I'm good," I said. "Cutting the engine? You got your passport?" She nodded, then hesitated. "You're being quiet." I turned toward her, met her eyes. "You're going on vacation with two women who treat relationships like gym memberships. You're wondering why I'm quiet." She frowned. "This is why I needed to get away. You twist everything. Not everything's about cheating." "No." I said, "But trips like this tend to leave doors open that shouldn't be." She rolled her eyes and stepped out. I followed her to grab her bags. She kissed me on the cheek, like I was a coworker instead of her husband. "I'll text when I land," she said. "You don't have to." Her smile faltered. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means go do what you've already decided to do. Just don't pretend it's for us." She didn't respond, just turned and walked inside. I watched her disappear behind the sliding doors, then drove off without looking back. That afternoon, I started combing through our joint accounts. I didn't touch her money, I'm not that guy. But I moved my paycheck to a new bank, canceled the fall trip we had planned together, had the refund rerouted to my card, changed billing on everything with both our names, utilities, insurance, streaming services. Small actions, but meaningful. We weren't separating, not officially. But I was done pretending to be a man whose wife still respected. Him, she wanted space to find herself. Fine, I'd stay right here, watching, listening. By the fourth day, she posted the first photo, a wine glass on a cafe table, captioned, "Lost. In Lisbon, finding peace." Funny, Lisbon hadn't even been part of their original itinerary. Then came Seville, Milan. Nice. The three of them were clearly winging it, hopping from one city to the next like undergrads on gap year budgets. Every photo looked like a magazine spread, curated plates of food, golden hour sunsets by the sea. Sand-dusted feet, Olivia in flowing dresses and oversized sunglasses. Sometimes laughing with Maddie, sometimes staring soulfully at ancient art. But one picture made me pause. A group shot, 3 women, 3 men I didn't recognize. One of the guys had his arm around Olivia's waist. No tags, no context. Just a caption, new friends, old souls. I stared at it for a long time. Then I opened a folder on my desktop and started saving screenshots. Call it paranoia. Call it foresight. Either way, I was done offering the benefit of the doubt. I didn't comment, didn't like any of her posts, didn't text. She messaged me once that week. Hey, hope everything's good back home. Just got you to Barcelona. It's beautiful here. I left it on read. The next day, Maddie posted a video from a beach club. Olivia was barefoot, dancing, cocktail in hand. That same guy from the group photo was there shirtless, leaning in to whisper something. In her ear, she didn't flinch, didn't pull away. I watched it twice, then saved it in the same folder. Still, I said nothing. 3 weeks later, she walked back through the front door like it was any other lazy Sunday. Dropped her bags in the hallway and grinned. God, it's good to be home. You would not believe the train situation in Italy. I was leaning against the kitchen counter, arms crossed. She glanced around. You rearranged? Had time? Stepped closer, leaned in to kiss me. I turned slightly. Her lips brushed my cheek instead. Her smile dimmed. You mad? No, I said evenly. You're back. That's what matters, right? She let out a nervous laugh. Okay, I know how it looked, but it wasn't like that. We just needed a break from everything. Looked like you made some new friends, I said. She hesitated. You saw the posts. I saw enough. Richard, come on. You know how those things go. People end up in group photos. It doesn't mean anything. You weren't wearing your ring, she winced. It was safer that way. We were traveling. I didn't want to draw attention. I said nothing. She crossed the room, pulled open her suitcase, and began rummaging through souvenirs. I brought you something, she said brightly, holding up a Vespa-shaped keychain. Remember how you always talk about going to Rome someday? I took it, placed it gently on the counter. Then I opened a drawer, pulled out the envelope I'd been keeping there, and handed it to her. She opened it slowly. Inside was a printed email from the bank confirming the separation of our accounts. Beneath that, the paperwork showing I'd begun buying out my share of the house. Last was contact info for the moving service I'd already scheduled. Her eyes lifted, wide and confused. You're kicking me out? You said you needed space, I said calmly. I made sure you had plenty? Her voice cracked. After one trip, I took a slow sip of coffee. After one decision, one that didn't include me. She sank onto the couch, trembling. It wasn't supposed to be permanent. Richard, I just needed time. Time for what? To flirt your way through Southern Europe? To pretend you were 20 again? She looked at me like I was cruel. You're overreacting. Won't even let me explain. You had a month, I said. All I got were polished photos and vague captions. I didn't cheat. You come close? She didn't answer. That's good enough, I said. You think because you didn't cross some obvious line that nothing happened? But you erased me the second you boarded that plane. You wanted freedom, Olivia. You got it. And freedom costs. Her eyes welled. So that's it? You're just done? I didn't answer right away. Instead, I walked to the closet, pulled out the duffel bag I'd packed for her, and placed it softly at her feet. You can stay with Isa or Maddie. You've got places to go. She stood slowly, voice barely above a whisper. This is really happening. I looked at her, steady. I warned you. I told you not to pretend it was for us. You made your choice. Now I'm making mine. There was no fight, no screaming. Just the silence that settles in when something truly ends. By the end of the week, she was gone. Maddie pulled up in her little blue car to help. She barely looked at me when I opened the door, muttered a flat hey, then headed to the bedroom. Olivia didn't say much either. She moved through the house like a guest taking down frames, emptying drawers, leaving half-used shampoo. In the shower, like she couldn't bring herself to finish the goodbye at one point. She stopped in the doorway while I typed at the dining table. This doesn't feel real, she said. I didn't look up. It is. I thought we could fix it. When I got back, you should have thought about that before you booked the trip without me. That weekend, my brother Aaron came over with his truck. No questions. Just help. We loaded the rest of her things and dropped them off at storage. Later that night, I wrapped myself in a blanket, sat on the balcony with a glass of whiskey. The house was quieter now, but not empty. It was mine. I wasn't angry, wasn't broken, just free. She chased freedom across the world. I found mine without ever leaving. 2 weeks passed before I heard from her again. A number I didn't recognize lit up my phone. I let it go. Then came the emails. Can we talk? Just once. I didn't respond. The next day she showed up at my doorstep. Arms crossed, trying to look composed. I've been calling you. I know, I said, locking the door behind me. You moved on that fast? I started moving the moment you said you needed space. She stood there like she was searching for the right words, the right angle. I made a mistake. I met her eyes. No, you made a choice. You just didn't like the result. I thought we were stronger than this. No, Olivia. I was. Strong? You were uncertain. That landed hard. She flinched. You don't mean that? I mean every word. She reached into her bag, pulled out a small box. My wedding ring. I kept it the whole time. I didn't take it off. I didn't touch it. That ring went further than our marriage ever did, I said. She stood there, speechless. I walked past her, got into my car. Is this really it? She asked, panic rising in her voice. I looked back. You asked for freedom. You got it. I started the engine and drove away without looking back. It's been 5 months. The house sold. We split what needed splitting. No court battles, just clean cuts and quiet departures. I moved into a smaller place near work. 1 bedroom, simple, uncluttered. Mine. I started running again. Took a photography class on Thursdays. It's strange. It's the little things that return when you stop bleeding for someone who wouldn't have done the same for you. Friends still ask. Are you sure you don't want to talk it out? She's in therapy. She might have changed. Maybe, but I don't need to know. That's the beauty of truly letting go. I heard she started dating again. A few short flings, nothing lasting. Then came one final message. A photo Vespa keychain sitting in her palm. No words. I deleted it. She doesn't know I kept mine. Not as a keepsake of herb, as a reminder that love, real love, isn't about drama or do-dashovers. It's about who stays when it's hard, who resists when freedom looks tempting. She left to find herself. I stayed and found me. I'm dating again. Slowly, carefully. I don't chase fireworks anymore. I look for the quiet. The steady, the ones who stay when no one's watching.